the game could see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, fight fans, and in this video we're going to give you the 5 top things you should know about the Mayweather-Pacquiao IV intravenous injection scandal. So stay tuned and tune in.
My name is Floyd. My name is Floyd. My name is Manny Mayweather.
So the first thing you need to know is that Thomas Hauser, the author of the article that broke the internet, which he is claiming that on the eve of Mayweather-Pacquiao, after the weigh-in, Mayweather was being administered an IV. Now, he's saying that the collection agents for USADA found evidence of an IV being administered to Mayweather at his home. Now, that raises some red flags. Now, the number 2 most important thing you should know is that Mayweather's medical team, who happened to be on hand, I'm assuming because they just finished administering the IV, told the USADA collection agents that the IV, which was reportedly included a mixture of 250 milliliters of saline and multivitamins and 500 milliliters of saline and vitamin C, which were being given to Mayweather for rehydration purposes following the weigh-in. Now, the fact that Mayweather needed to rehydrate when we always assume that he's walks around 148 is a mystery in itself. The fact that he was given an intravenous injection and it was allowed, according to the WADA rules, the state intravenous infusions or injections of more than 50 milliliters per 6 hours are prohibited except for those legitimately received in the course of hospital admission. So if he wanted more than 50 milliliters, he had to go to a hospital and be checked in. The third thing you should know is exactly the rules and regulations that USADA should follow when under the WADA protocol. And number 4 is the contract that shocks us all between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. Now, the third thing that you need to know is that Annie Skinner, which is the senior communications manager, emailed the statement to the writer Thomas Hauser and outlined USADA's missions. And it reads, just like for Olympic athletes, any pro boxing program follows WADA international standards, including the prohibited list, the International Standard for Testing and Investigation, ISTI, the International Standard for Therapeutic Use of Exemption, ISTUE, and the International Standard for Protection of Privacy and Personal Information, ISPPPI. Skinner's statement is incorrect according to Thomas Hauser because he was able to obtain a copy of the entire contract between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao for the drug testing in conjunction with the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Now, the thing is that in this contract, paragraph 30 states that if any rule or regulation whatsoever incorporated or referenced herein conflicts in any respect with the terms of this agreement shall in all such respects control. Such rules and regulations include but are not limited to the Code of the World Anti-Doping Code, the USADA Protocol, the WADA Prohibited List, the ISTUE, the WADA International Standard for Therapeutic Use and Exemption, and the ISTI and WADA International Standard for Testing and Investigation. In other words, USADA was not bound by the drug testing protocols that one might have expected it to follow in conjunction with the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, meaning because of this contract that was in place, they could basically do this. Bob Bennett, who worked for the FBI and now is currently working in his position as an executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, had this to say in reference to the tool that was granted for Mayweather IV usage. And the IV was administered at Floyd's house not in a medical facility, and wasn't brought to our attention at the time was totally unacceptable. I've made this clear to Travis Tygart that this should not happen again. We have the sole authority to grant any and all tools in the state of Nevada. USADA is a drug testing agency. USADA should not be granting waivers and exemption, not in this state. We are less than pleased that USADA acted this way. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky, because in the contract that we mentioned earlier, both parties agreed and knew what they were signing. So Mayweather and Pacquiao agree that USADA shall notify both athletes within 24 hours of any of the following occurrences: the approval by USADA of a 2 application submitted by either athlete, or number 2, the existence of any modifications to the existing approved 2. Notification pursuant to this paragraph shall consist of and be limited to the date of the application, the prohibited substance, the method for which the 2 is sought, and the manner for the use of the prohibited substance or method for which the 2 is sought. This is what Pacquiao thought he was agreeing to. So what people think happened and what really happened, we don't know. But according to this writer, Thomas Hauser, the way things were handled is a bit sketchy. As we told you earlier in the video, the IV was administered after the weigh-in on May 1st. The fight happened May 2nd. We all know that. But Manny Pacquiao, Bob Arum, Bob Bennett, the chairman and executive director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Francisco Aguilar, no one was notified until May 21st. USADA sent the letter to all these parties and let them know. Now, here's the fishy thing. The letter didn't even say when the request for the retroactive 2 was made by Mayweather or when it was granted by USADA. So there's definitely some explaining to do. When we speak of red flags, we have to talk about this. VADA charges significantly less than USADA. USADA charging $36,000 to administer drug testing for Andy Lee and Peter Quillen, but for Mayweather Pacquiao, they charged $150,000, and that was given to them up front by Mayweather. Red flag. Now, what has to be said is that Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. has maintained his innocence, putting out a statement yesterday via his publicist, and I quote, "As I already confirmed by USADA statement, I did not commit any violations of the Nevada or USADA drug testing guidelines. I follow and have always followed the rules of Nevada and USADA, the gold standard of drug testing. Let's not forget that I was the one 6 years ago who insisted on elevating the level of drug testing for all my fights. As a result, there is more drug testing and awareness of its importance in the sport of boxing today and than ever before. I am very proud to be a clean athlete and will continue to champion the cause." As of now, Floyd Money Mayweather has never tested positive. There is no hard evidence of that, but this writer does insinuate that some things may have been covered up in the past. I'll leave that up to you. I've presented you the top 5 things you should know about this scandal. Talk to us in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think and what videos should we do next.